Welcome back to the 12th Man podcast. As we look forward to the huge weekend in the Premier League, we're going to be looking about that monster clash between Liverpool and Man City. We'll reflect on some of the European results in the week. Of course, Liverpool beating Real Madrid, seen as a huge result in the Liverpool fan base and in the general football media. We'll be looking ahead to that game on Sunday. Obviously, Liverpool coming in great shape, Man City the opposite. And we'll be looking at all the angles on Sunday and giving our predictions for that game. We'll also look ahead to the rest of the weekend's games, including the South Coast Derby tonight where Brighton take on Southampton. Football weekend, Premier League weekend starts early on a Friday night. And of course, this is the first of a triple bill this week. There is football Friday, Saturday, Sunday, break Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, break Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So a real feast over the next week, Owen. So I think what we'll do is we'll get through the show, and then I think we're going to be done in pretty quick time tonight because we are focused on Liverpool Man City. We'll go through the games, and we may have some time at the end to look through the sort of teams at the top of the table that are fighting for the title, fighting for the top four, looking at their three games this week in isolation to see who the winners and losers of the next sort of 10 days could be. So, Owen, before we do, it's almost the December. It's December on Sunday. Christmas is almost coming. And it's hard to believe we done them fixtures back in June before I was going on holidays. It's nearly time for me to go on my second holiday of the year in January, so I'm looking forward to that. How's things with you?
I can complain. Just been chilling out myself, and obviously, in terms of football, I can't really complain at the minute. Can I? Everything's going how I want it to go at the minute. Long may it continue, hopefully.
Yeah, when we were doing them fixtures in June, there's no way, and even the most delusional Liverpool fan couldn't have seen themselves, 17 wins out of 19 games in all competitions, a draw away at Arsenal, the only block being a home slap against Forest. But I mean, because of the all results, that's sort of gone under the radar. You would have taken that all day, every day. I mean, they think they beat Chelsea, they've beat Man United away, they've beat Aston Villa at home. They've beat Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League, beat Real Madrid in the Champions League. They've went to the San Siro. They're in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. It's all going so well, but the coincide with that is it can all fall apart when you've had that high, because we were sort of saying that it can only go down really when you're in this run of form. But at the minute, Liverpool showing no signs of that.
You brought it on there. Like when we did them fixtures, I think it was on the 16th of June. I think it was. It was around then.
It was the what did I go on holidays? 17th.
I was like, because that's when my my summer sort of derailed. We'll put it that way after all my sicknesses and that. But no, when we were talking about then, like. If we had said sitting now going into the 1st of December, Liverpool have a chance to go 11 points clear at the top of the league, I would have said, even me, I would have said no, we have no chance. I predicted at the start of the season for us to finish third. I think from this position, I'd be very disappointed if we finish third. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, of course. That saying going around a lot at the minute. 11 points. Arsenal fans, the opposite there as well. They're saying about, they look at Man City. Liverpool and Arsenal seem to not really look at each other, and they look at Man City. Of course, if Arsenal win on Saturday, there won't be an 11-point gap on Sunday, regardless of a Liverpool victory. Of course, it would be down to 9 points. Why do you think there is this sort of divide between Liverpool and Arsenal fans, where one fan base is kind of looking down at the other one, if you know what I mean? Like, Arsenal fans are still saying they fancy themselves, they come back. Liverpool are still sort of looking at the fact that they can go 11 points clear of Man City, but not really worried by the fact they'd only be 9 ahead of Arsenal. I mean, why do you think there is that divide amongst the two fan bases?
I have no idea. Maybe it's just because Arsenal fans, I even heard, I don't know if you've seen this, I even heard Robbie from FTV saying Lemons beating Sporting was more impressive than us beating Real Madrid. I was like, all right then. But I don't know. Obviously, if Arsenal won tomorrow, they'll be 9. I'll be thinking, right, we're 9 points ahead of them. But at the minute, I'm just taking it. It annoys me the way Arsenal fans go on, but it's Man City. It's Man City. It's like, but you're still going to be 9 points behind us if we beat Man City. That's
Is that narrative there from Liverpool fans as well? The fact that they're saying we can go 11 points clear at the weekend, when realistically it's more likely they'd only be stretching a further point clear, because we do all expect Arsenal to win at West Ham. No certainty,
uh,
but you would expect that to happen.
it is, but I just think it's because of how good Man City have been in the past 6, 7, 8 years that people just automatically assume it's going to be Man City. But if we beat them on Sunday, I can only see it being between Liverpool and Arsenal.
I do think these two fan bases are going to start to respect each other pretty soon, because I think it's going to be a two-team title race, to be honest. But we'll see. Owen, we're going to look back at Real Madrid, but just quickly looking ahead to the weekend, and we will go through some more detail later. Liverpool, Man City, always a massive game. Has been really since Klopp. Well, you could even go back to the Brendan Rodgers days as well, but it's really kicked off since Klopp and Pep have been here.
Yeah.
I mean, Liverpool couldn't come under this in better shape. Man City the opposite, and rarely has it went like this in recent seasons. Usually Man City come on. Of course, Liverpool have been in great nick at times as well, but there's been other times on there that Liverpool have been struggling. But even in them times, Liverpool have managed to hold Man City to a draw sometimes, or so. As well as Liverpool are doing, and Man City are struggling. Do you think you still have to respect them, that on their day they can be? I mean, they could flick a switch and it could be the best version of Man City, because Liverpool have had a couple of off seasons as well, and under Klopp, and it looks like at the minute Pep's having one at Man City, but even though everything favours Liverpool, it's still Man City. It's still a tough game, isn't it?
100%. You have to. I'm not going in there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going in there going, we're going to beat them 4, 5, 6. So of course it's Man City. They still have
learned that lesson before we Man United, didn't you?
It's a bit of a different level. Let's be honest. But they could barely beat Bono Glunt last night, for God's sake. But no, you still have to respect Man City for what they've done. And don't get me wrong, they still have Haaland, they still have Foden, they still have countless. I think Ruben Diaz is back. Well, he should be. Anyway, I don't know if he's going to start. They still have De Bruyne. Like, they're still a top class team, and they will win games again. And it will be a tough game. I expect it to be very tight on Sunday. I either way, I think there's going to be one or two goals in it. But you still have to respect them for what they are. They're the team everyone's trying to beat year in year out. And Liverpool can't go on there thinking because they're in a bit of a downturn at the minute. Liverpool can't go on there thinking we're just going to steamroll them. We have to go on there. We have to go on there as if Man City. I would go on there thinking, if I was the players, I would go on there thinking Man City are 8 points ahead of us and we're trying to close the gap. Like that mentality. So I don't want any complacency when it comes to Sunday.
Yeah. Last time Liverpool beat Man City, am I right in saying it was back in 2022?
1-0, I saw.
I 1-0. That was funny enough, I was actually on a cruise that night. That was my first night of a cruise. I remember that game. So that seems like quite a long time ago, because they've played each other 1, 2, 3, 4 times since. So this is the fifth game since.
I think it's been mostly draws, hasn't it? And they beat us like 5-1, I think, in their
Man City have won. The last two have been draws, and the two before that, Man City won both of them. AFL Cup 3-2-1 and a 4-1 one in the league.
The EFL Cup one was just after the World Cup, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, so City are unbeaten in their last 4 against Liverpool. But as we said, that was a time when Liverpool were struggling a wee bit, and they still managed to avoid defeat in 2 of them. So just shows you that this is. I mean, there's all these games have been tight over the years, but Owen, let's look back. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I've gone on the games where Liverpool were struggling against like the likes of Man United, and we've turned them over. So as I said there, you still have to respect Man City for what they are. They're still a top class team. So as I said, I'm not going in there. I don't want the players going in there thinking we can just steamroll them. I want them to go in there and really. If we lose, I want us to lose. We've given 100%. If you know what I mean, I don't want us just to go in there thinking we can turn them over.
I'll be honest with you, I can only see it going one way, but look, we'll get on that later on. Let's look back on Wednesday night, and it was a big one for Liverpool because you spoke about their they haven't beat Man City in the last 4 games. They haven't beaten Madrid since back in 2010 or 2009, I think it was.
It was 2009. We beat them
And
4-0 at
of
Anfield.
course, they don't play Real Madrid every season, but there has been quite a
It
few
seems
meetings
to
during that time.
be every year
There
we're in
has,
the Champions League. We seem to match them somehow.
well, that's it. I think the last three of their last four exits in the Champions League have been at the hands of Real Madrid. I think there's been two finals on there as well, but there's been
Two finals, and then the year before mine, they beat us 5-2 at Anfield as
yeah,
well.
and there was another year as well during COVID. They beat you as well.
They beat us. I think it was 1-0 at Anfield, and then 3-0 at the third ground.
So it was a big one. I says to you that I think this is a big game for Liverpool. You sort of says that you weren't too, not that you weren't bothered, but that you thought that you were more worried about Sunday.
See
But
when I
Arne
see
Slot
when I got
went.
it. See when I got on it and heard the crowd, I was like, "No, we have to beat these."
Arne Slot went quite strong, probably strongest team available. He played them,
Yeah,
and it paid off because that's a kind of one that keeps momentum going. You've ended that record against Madrid, um, and absolutely flying in the Champions League. Now they've got that sewn up really. But it'll be interesting to see the Slot keep going strong now because they're only 3 wins away from finishing top,
yeah,
and that guarantees you the best possible path by
yeah.
result. Obviously, there's probably teams on there that have maybe not finished where they should, but on the results stats, that gives you the best route possible to the final. Well, before we get into that, let's look at the game itself because it was a cagey enough affair. I thought Liverpool edged the first half, but really stepped it up after half time. Kind of a wee bit like the Leverkusen game.
Yeah.
And they got their goals. Of course, the game hinged on the Mbappe penalty being missed. Salah then misses one as well. But fought for most of the game, Liverpool were the dominant team.
I think Gravenberch said in his interview we could have played a rondo round them at one point. We were that dominant, and I was actually speaking to one of my friends. I was like, maybe we dodged the bullet with Bellingham because he didn't do what I expected him to do. But no, but the game changed for me on that Connor Bradley tackle. Like that was just when that happened, the crowd got up. Even I was sitting in my living room going, I was screaming. It was like seeing a lad from this isle like playing against his first Champions League start against probably one of the best top 4 or 5 attackers in the world, and doing that, he marked him out of the game.
He hasn't looked like that recently, has he? Mbappe, he looks like he's struggling a
Yeah.
wee bit.
But
Confidence.
that's what they said. Like everyone thought when he came in with Vinicius and Rodrigo, it's imbalanced. Like even I know Vinicius and Rodrigo weren't playing, but even on Wednesday night they was Mbappe was playing striker, but he's not a striker. He's not someone that's going to get you goals from inside the box. Like he wants to call in and shoot or come in lit. He's not going to stand in
Yeah.
the 6 yard box.
Bellingham didn't have a great game either, I don't think.
No, the best Real Madrid player for me, I would say, was probably Modric. I think Modric was very good.
He is consistent, but it was a big struggle for Madrid. And kind of reminded me of the time we beat them 3-0, and I thought they were finished then. And they come back, they won, they beat Liverpool in the final that year. So you can never write them off, of course. But I thought they were a dusted team that year, and of course they come back and won it. So
Well,
Madrid are very much
Carlo
second half of the season team. Sorry, go ahead.
Angelotti's come out today and says that they're going to be in the Champions League final. So he's hinging on it, isn't he?
Would you back against it? But I mean, they've got a record look up there.
If they get their players back, then no, there's no reason why they can't. But I'm saying but like you, I'm thinking anyone we can come up against at the moment we can beat. So as Rio Ferdinand said, we're the best team in Europe at the moment, and there's no one changing my mind on that.
Yeah, Ferdinand says they are the best team in Europe at the moment. Trying to think of the other foreign teams around Barcelona, Bayern Munich are flying, but very different.
Easier standard of leagues, isn't it?
Well, they say that's what I'm saying. They don't put that Premier League on that standard. But then watching the Premier League this year, you'd be going, well, who have they beat? Man City's floundering. Arsenal have been inconsistent. So as is this Premier League as good as what we're talking her up to be? That will remain to be seen. Of course, in the European competitions when we get the May, how many English teams are there at the end of those 3 competitions?
Well, you would expect Chelsea to win the Conference League because there's oh my god, that's a joke of a competition.
Yeah, well, I think they're overpowered, aren't they? You know what I mean,
Uh,
compared to what they're up against. But um, Liverpool, Owen, best all-round team in Europe at the moment, would you say?
I mean, the evidence we're top of the Premier League, we're top of the Champions League. Arguably the mad thing is we haven't played our best football, which is mad. They say like
I
I
disagree.
think I think in games disagree on what that we're the best team or we haven't
No,
played our best.
I think he's are playing as good as what he can play. I think this is the way he's going to do it. I
Mm,
think because of how I see a few times when I was watching the game on Wednesday, anytime the ball was given away or a slack pass, Madrid were breaking and Liverpool had about 7 players behind the ball. So I
yeah,
think you're always going to sacrifice some attacking football when you're playing
yeah,
that way. That they're going so secure. I don't see Liverpool going to Man City and doing what Spurs did because they aren't committing as many players forward.
yeah.
For
I
example,
think you have to remember too. It's not really Slot's team, really, is it? He hasn't signed anyone. Well, I know he
no, he
signed.
hasn't. No, not really, not. But he's adapted
Uh,
they've adapted his way, and I think Madrid counter attacking the Arnie didn't really have anything.
I I
And
seen the thing.
years gone by under Klopp, they would have been it would have been 4 against 2. Although they probably would have created more chances. I mean, I
They
think
would
in the
have
first
conceded more.
half, Liverpool didn't create much. There was a couple of goal mouth scrambles in the box. Salah played
Yeah.
Nunez on one time, but there was a couple of other goal. They weren't really opening. I think that's the thing. Liverpool aren't being opened up, but I don't think they're opening teams up as much as they did under Klopp. So there's a cast off.
It feels like though, maybe it's just me and the eye test, but it feels like when we do get in on goal, I'm more confident that we'll score. I know Salah's a part of that. I actually seen a stat today. If we didn't have Salah, we'd be 13th, apparently. So it just shows.
Well, that shows you how important he's been to the Liverpool.
Yeah,
Still a few doubts showing from the media that Liverpool can go all the way in the Premier League, can go all the way in the Champions League.
I heard your
Do
man.
you think that's based on maybe what people thought at the start of the season, or do you think they're hoping for that they fall apart, or is there any evidence to suggest it could fall apart? Because people are saying, look what happened last season, but it's a completely different manager, completely different style of play. So it's hard to
Well,
judge it against that. Well, how do you think?
I think it's just people. Some people just can't get over their hatred of Liverpool, and that's generally what it is. I just think people don't want Liverpool to be successful, and it's like me. Like I don't want Man United to be successful. So if Man
Did you
United were
see
in it,
my tweet? The Arne got
I,
over 4,000 views and
I
some
seen
whole
that.
pile of likes from Liverpool fans.
I
Actually,
seen it.
they
But
like me giving it back to that Arsenal fan.
it it's the same as me. If United, if Man United were being, if Man United were in this position, I'd be going, no, they'll fall away eventually. Even though in my head I'm going, are they going to fall away?
Do you think it's down to how many games they've been in that's been tight? Like there's been a lot of one margin victories in the Premier League. Yes, they keep winning them, but do you think people are going, well, eventually that could turn? They're is that what people are going off? Because they're winning all the time, so it can't be anything to do with the way the points they have. It has to be down to what people are seeing on the football pitch. 2
It's a
1 down
hard.
to Southampton, 1-0 down to Brighton. Are people thinking, do you know what? Only for Mo Salah, they wouldn't have won those games because, as you say, he has been contributing probably more than he's ever done. Because I think there's more of a reliance on him than there's ever been since like Mane and Firmino and all our players have left. Diaz is good. He had a great start to the season, but he's been on the other team recently with injury. But the numbers he was posting there, they've evaporated. Nunez, we know, is never the most clinical. So, he is the man. Is that the one worry? If anything was to happen to Salah, the stats are there. They suggest that they would really struggle with him.
Oh, no doubt. If Salah's, we haven't seen anything of cases, so I'm not going to bring him into the equation because we don't know when he's back. I don't even know if he's actually signed at this point. But no, if we lose Salah, there will be a big drop off
The
because
only thing I would say with Salah is the only way I can see him losing him is a freak injury because he never seems to pick up muscle injuries. I know he had that one last year in the Africa, but he got over it quite quickly. He's never
he
been the
doesn't.
type he must too many games. So unless there's a freak injury, a bit like the
Um,
Ramos in the final where he fell on his arm, it's kind of the
uh,
only way I can see him missing.
he's a machine. Like I don't think, as you say, he picked up. I think it was against Brentford last year. Mind he picked up that injury, and then he must. I think he must have 4 or 5 games. I think he must have League Cup final against Chelsea. But no, I don't know. I know we've been in a lot of tight games, and I know we've come from behind. And obviously, at some point, we'll come on stuck, and there'll be a game that we don't win or we only get a draw out of. But you have to credit this.
It'll be how they react to it. I think
Yeah.
that'll be the most important thing.
So it's going to be interesting to see. But I just think for me, it's Liverpool. People are hoping that Liverpool fall off. Well, rather than expecting us to.
I said the other night, I thought this Madrid game was massive psychologically because there's a good chance they could meet Real Madrid again in the second half of the season, and they needed to get rid of that record. They were flying. Madrid were the team in bad form. I think they had to get that one over them. Yeah. And I do think football, a lot of it's down to psychology. I think Man City at the minute, when teams are playing Man City, they can believe they can beat them as opposed to previous seasons. I think when Liverpool were going through that bad spell under Klopp, teams wanted to play Liverpool. And I think United's gone through that phase in the last few years where teams just fear going to Old Trafford. Now they enjoy going there. And I think it's the opposite with Liverpool at the minute. Teams are like, even Southampton 2-1 up. I think they were probably thinking, look, we've seen Liverpool do this so many times this year. They've come back. And it happens. I think the mind can play big things. The team that are on the good form and have this record believe. We've seen it with Bayer Leverkusen last year. Every time they were faced with adversity and they had to score late goals, it just tended to happen. Was that down to skill? Honestly, I don't think so because they're not doing it this year, are they? So I think it's down to more psychological belief and disbelief from one team or the other. So
maybe this could be our Bayer Leverkusen season.
Well, that's it. You just don't know. Sometimes you can ride waves and they can just keep rising. So really fun though to see how this plays out. Owen, of course, we mentioned it. Liverpool have adapted their style. The gung-ho football the club played has probably shifted to North London now over the Big Ange. And Liverpool are playing more reserved percentage football, I would say. And it's paying dividends at the moment because they're getting the results they need in every competition.
Well, it was as we're not a defensive team, but as you say, we're not playing like counterattack mad football.
I wouldn't say it's pragmatic. I would say it's more percentage football.
It's like reserve now. We're not.
I think Slot believes with Sal on the pitch, if they can keep a clean sheet, he always fancies them. They want.
It's like I agree. If we can, it was like I know we missed a penalty against Madrid, but the skill to get the penalty before it was just like he turned Mendy inside out, and then Mendy got subbed off, and then the penalty was I don't know what he was doing with that, but no, I think I was going to say Klopp there. I think Slot does deserve a lot of credit for the way he's come in and the way he's changed, the way he's made his style work for us. Because as we said at the start, I don't think if you had have said to me sitting here going into the 1st of December that Liverpool would have a chance to be 9 points cleared, 11 points cleared, whatever it'll be, I would have bit your hand off. So fair play to Slot, and there will be sticky moments in the season. There will be. And we will lose games, as I say, but it's, as you said, it's how we react it. Because I remember coming into this period, it's, what did they play Leverkusen, or what did they play Madrid, or what do you see when they play Chelsea? So far, we've passed them all. Now this is, we'll speak about it later on, but this is about...
According to that Arsenal fan that I was debating with, he says that Liverpool have been lucky to play these teams when they're in bad moments.
That doesn't... Any team can have a bad moment at any point in the season. There could be a point in the season where people are going, yes, we're playing Liverpool this week because we've lost a few. But I think, as you said to me last week, and we've talked about it off here, this week is going to be a big one because obviously we have Man City on Sunday, and we have Newcastle on Wednesday, and then the last derby at Goodison next Saturday. So it's a big week. If we can come out of that, if we can come out of that unbeaten, I'll be very surprised, but I'll be very happy.
And of course, they were referencing that you couldn't play Man City at a better time. But I mean, you couldn't have played Sporting Lisbon at a better time. They just lost their manager that's been there for how many years, and they're glorifying a 5-1-1.
Yeah, it's
they pick the stats and the ones they want to see, and then they disregard the other ones.
It's every fan do that, I think. But you have to, like, we're playing Man City at a good time, but Man City could still come to Anfield and beat us. They could, like, they're
that the final test for Liverpool. In this sort of first round of fixtures, first 19 games, I know this is only going to be game 13, but if they will have come through Chelsea, they will have come through Arsenal away, they will have come through Old Trafford. Man City at home. Is this the one that because as good as Liverpool have been at Anfield over the years, Man City's probably the team that's had the most success in terms of stopping Liverpool from winning. Of course, they haven't won as many, but they have went to Anfield and got a fair few draws.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the final test because I said it is a big week. Like we have Newcastle away and Everton away too. So I think if we can come out of this week as a whole unscathed somehow, then I think people will sit up to take notice.
Let's talk about Man City, because of course they threw away a 3-goal lead in the Champions League at home to Feyenoord. Tough team managed to go.
I wasn't even watching it. I seen the score 3-0, and then I was like, And then I checked my phone. It was 3 each. I was like, what the hell?
Of course, Man City have been nowhere near flaky in the last few seasons, but just goes to show you when your confidence is low, flakiness can just come out of nowhere. Really, I mean, there's no way in any of the last 4 or 5 seasons would Man City threw that game away. No. Of course, that's just the psychological thing at the moment, and everything they feel is going against them as well.
I didn't like Pep's interview after it saying he wanted to harm himself, and that was a bit mad.
I don't think he was thinking when he says it, but I can see what he means in terms of he probably couldn't believe that they threw that away. And all of a sudden now they're in a battle. They finish in that top 8 in the Champions League, and that's going to be difficult. But huge test for Man City, because although they've been able to get draws at Anfield, they haven't won at Anfield in front of a crowd since 2003, I believe. And they've had some unbelievable teams since. So, I mean, it's a big ask, but as we says, this season at the minute, there's results coming out of every corner you wouldn't expect. I mean, you only have to go to last weekend. Fulham bit 4-1 at home to Wolves. Spurs going to the Etihad and won 4-0.
You see Fulham beating Spurs tomorrow.
Well, that's it. I mean, Ipswich have beaten Spurs. Southampton were with 20 minutes away from beating Liverpool last week, and that hadn't happened for something like 15 years, where the team at the bottom had beat the team at the top after this many games. So, it does feel like a very abnormal season at the moment, where you just can't take any game for granted. And this is what Liverpool have to remember, that Man City are fighting. Really going to have to come out and fight to get these points on Sunday.
I said it. Like, I'm taking this as Man City are at their pump. If you know what I mean, I'm taking it as if they have everyone fit, they have everyone available, and we should treat it like that. Because if we play 95% of what we're capable of, they'll beat us. Like, we have to be. Obviously, you're not going to play 100% brilliant in every game, but we have to make sure that when we do make mistakes, we're making mistakes in the quote-unquote right areas. We're not making mistakes near our goal, or we're not making mistakes where we can be punished. So we have to be up for it from the first whistle. And I think the crowd, as I said on Monday night, was it Monday night? I think it was Monday night. I said on Monday night, I think the crowd will have a big party playing it.
Yeah, of course, we mentioned this earlier on, but all the evidence at the minute points to Liverpool won based on Anfield record against Man City, or certainly not a Man City one. Anyway, it certainly shows you Liverpool usually won or draw this game. Other than that COVID season, you have to go back to 2003 for the last time Man City were victorious at Anfield. It kind of feels on form at the moment that Man City are back in 2003. But look, this as a dangerous season. We've seen that with so many unpredictable results. But you really be clutching. They say what's in Man City's favour in this game at the moment, wouldn't you?
Maybe the fact that Kanate is injured might give them a wee boost. But other than that, as I said, like, any three of the results could happen. Am I expecting Man City to win? If I'm being honest, no. I'm expecting Liverpool there. I'm expecting Liverpool to go and win, just based on the eye test, as we said, based on the form at the minute. But as I said, Man City, they still have world-class players, so they can still hurt you no matter how they play. So
if Man City went there on Sunday and won, would that be one of the biggest shocks of the season at the moment, based on how Liverpool are doing, based on where Man City are? They're leaking goals for fun. But when you think about the fact that they've been on unbelievable runs before and they've not got over the line at Anfield, if they were to go there and win, would that be one of the strangest results of the season so far, do you think? I know there's
For
been a
me,
lot, but would it
uh,
be?
for me, I based as we said, based on form, and as you spoke about there, the psychological of Man City. If Man City went on one on Sunday, they think right now we can push on and go back to where we want to be. But and then the other way, if Man City lose it and go 11 points behind Liverpool, they could be thinking right, that's it for us. So it is. And then if it's a draw, that just suits Arsenal. So I think for me, it's a must win for both teams for different reasons.
What type of game you expecting?
Uh Same as Madrid, really tight and cagey. And
Mm,
I think
Man
the
City are not going to open up. I don't think. I think they're going to be very, very. Pep will be telling them, do not give the ball away and don't take risks. I think, and try and rely on behind having a
if,
great day in front of the goal, because I just don't think they want to get caught on the transition. But the only thing is, you can be the best coach in the world, like Pep is. You just can't prevent transitions. It happens in games. It
no,
will happen at some stage, and they're
if
really
uh,
vulnerable to it.
if Liverpool if Liverpool were to get a goal inside the first say 15-20, I think we can put them.
Why do you think City haven't been able to be successful at Anfield? Even when they were the dominant team. I know there were seasons they were neck and neck, but you know there were seasons as well where they were absolutely Liverpool were miles off Man City, points wise in the table, and they still went there and they were unable to win. Um, did Liverpool? Do you think up their game? Do they always up their game for Man City? Is that the dangerous thing, that even when Man City and Liverpool have played at Anfield, Man City have probably always come in as favourites. This is the first time really that Liverpool have been considered favourites against Man City. So this is an uncharted territory for some of these players.
It is, and I think for them not being able to win an Anfield, again it comes. I think it comes back to the mental thing. Sometimes you get a ground where you're going, oh, we have to, like, it's like Spurs at Stamford Bridge. You can't buy one there, it seems. So it's like sometimes you just go to a ground and be like, right, we haven't won here in a while, and it just sticks. So I think it's a lot to do with the mind. But as I say, if they do go on Sunday and win, then that's it over. It's like it was like us with Madrid. It was we before they are now. We haven't beat them since 2009. So it's once you get that over, then it's like right, we know we can beat them. So hopefully it doesn't happen. I'm hoping their bad run continues, but it's going to be an interesting one on Sunday, for many reasons.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, Man City haven't liked Anfield, but the one ground that they really don't like is that Spurs Stadium. Of course, they have
Yeah,
been able to at least get some draws, other than last season. That was Man City's only one at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So, I mean, these are the two grounds they hit. And of course, Spurs went to their place this time and inflicted it. And funny enough, these two fixtures for Man City seem to always be bang and bang after one another.
yeah.
Whatever, it was the same last year, only the other way about was Liverpool at home and then Spurs at home. And of course, they only got 2 points out of that. So, um,
They always say the fixtures is random, but I think there's something there because every point in the season we seem to play Spurs, or every point in the season we seem to play Everton. It always seems to be around the same every season. So I think some of it's random, and then I think some of it's just I don't know.
set in a way.
Yeah,
Of course, Pep says they need a rebuild today. Says they're desperate. They reinvest in the squad and go from there. I mean, they do have a lot of aging players. You think about the midfield one, and it reminds me of that Liverpool midfield a few years ago with Henderson, Fabinho, Milner,
Wijnaldum.
Wijnaldum, and them players. They'd lost that energy in the legs that they had to protect that defense, and
Like
it would
look
seem.
at our midfield now. Like it's probably not the quality of a. Arguably it would be, but
But it's young and energetic and fresh, and
yeah,
it looks at the minute that Man City's engine has completely ran out, and it's given them no protection in front of goal. Like it's like
yeah.
an war, bulletproof jacket on or armor on, because they're just straight at your defense. And at the minute, it would seem that even if Man City were to go and get a one at the weekend, I think Pep says it's only 1-1. That wouldn't change the outlook of the season, and I think he's referencing that he believes that some of these players maybe on their day can put a performance on, but over the course of a season, they're going to be well short of previous seasons. So do you think we're going to see a lot change at Man City in the summer?
Oh, I think the Browns away in the summer. I generally do. And I think Gundogan won't get an extension. Other than that, who else do they have Kovacic is sort of he's like an out player, but I definitely think they need a Rodri replacement, not a replacement, but like a someone who can come on, like a Zubamendi type. Hopefully not, because obviously I want them to come to Liverpool. But like a Zubamendi type come on when he's not there or when he needs a rest, because it's like us with Salah. They're heavily reliant on him, and you can see it. The stats weren't great for them when he didn't play last season, and he's not playing at all again this season. So I think that's the area. There's two areas, sorry, for me. The two main ones for me are a backup midfielder for Rodri and a backup striker for Haaland, because you can sort of see this season he's still scoring goals, but he's not as electric as he was.
Yeah.
I think it's a big mistake that letting Alvarez go. I know they got a big fee from him, but hindsight's a wonderful thing, as they say.
Yeah. 1 second. Well, that's it. The one, as you say, hindsight. If they had they could turn back time. I think they would have kept them. But look, final thoughts on them, because if they were to lose on Sunday, you would think that that's the title gone, and then it's all about securing their place in the top four. But
surely
they
can get top
behind
four.
them thinking, do you know what? This team they're on such a bad run that teams have shown so how vulnerable they can be.
Yeah,
that they could be in a race with the likes of Spurs and Chelsea for top four. Who knows?
not for me. I think they'll finish. For me, at the minute, they'll finish third.
Third.
I think they're the third
But
best.
the only thing is, though, I mean, if they were to lose this game, this run can't keep going on and on. I know they're Man City, but I mean, once you're under that record, if you've lost 7, 8 games, out of 9, or if you're in that territory and you're getting to a point where you have to stop maybe forgetting this. Remember this as fans, but if this team are incapable of winning games,
Yeah,
then there's no golden ticket into the top 4. You've got to be able to win games, and I think this is really important. These next 3 games for Man City, if they lose the Anfield, you're going to have to go and win 2 games. Otherwise, you're going to be they're going to be sitting down in 7 for 8.
Yep. Do you think maybe? Do you think the off the pitch is starting to have an effect on it?
No, I don't think so.
No,
It hasn't affected them in the past, has it?
True.
James said 3-1 to Liverpool, going early in their predictions. Let's look at the rest of the Premier League games, Owen, because of course the Premier League kicks off this weekend in just over 2 hours' time. Brighton taking on Southampton in a South Coast derby at 8 o'clock tonight.
This is one of them. If Southampton play the way they did against us, Brighton will rip them to shreds.
Well, that's it. And of course, we don't get too many Friday night games, but we do have one this time.
Might actually watch this. It seems like an interesting.
Do you enjoy the Friday night football, or do you prefer? There's no Saturday game tomorrow at 12:30. Do you prefer the Saturday game, or?
If we're not playing it, but no, I enjoy a Friday night game.
Brighton take it on Southampton.
Do you like a Friday, or do you prefer Saturday?
I do like the lunchtime game on Saturday, because it gets you well long with you 3 o'clock. Whereas on Friday night now, I've got to disappoint my girlfriend and tell her to watch this match instead of watching a film. So.
Well, then again, you probably disappoint her just by showing up. But
Brighton.
Normally we have Derry to watch, but you see on a Friday, so.
Brighton take on Southampton, of course. Brighton absolutely flying this season. A great
Brighton
one away at Bournemouth. Sorry?
You think Brighton could be on way shout for top 4?
Don't think so over 38 games, but look, could be pretty.
I think they'll get Europe.
Possibly European place. The fact they're not in Europe as a help, but they were fortunate last week. They beat Bournemouth, I have to say. They were very fortunate they won that game, and I think they've been fortunate they won a couple of our games. I know they had the Wolves game where they fell apart, and they should have won that game. I think Liverpool, they probably deserve something out of the game. From their first half performance, but I think there's been other games like the Spurs game where they could have been out of sight in the first half. Chelsea could have put 10 past them in that 4-2-1. Bournemouth could have beat them last week. So
they probably would have lost Arsenal too if they didn't get 10 men.
I do think Brighton's a very similar team to Spurs. When they're at their best, they can beat anyone, and when they're off it, they can lose to anyone. And they're a great team to watch. I love watching them, and that's why I says to Emily, I says these two teams are good to watch. So we're definitely watching this game tonight. So if it had been Crystal
Leicester
Palace
and
against
City
Leicester,
Watford.
I wouldn't even have bothered. But look,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
I'm going to watch it
Brighton,
myself.
well, that's it. And Southampton definitely are improving, but
Yeah.
just can't stop shooting themselves in the foot. But I think I think very similar to Burnley, like Burnley last year, they did get on a bit of a run in the second half of the season, and they only got relegated on the last week of the season. So, Southampton at the minute are a wee bit behind, but if they keep playing like this, they're gonna be in games.
They are, but it's if they keep playing like this, they're going to be in games. But if they keep playing, oh, speaking of them, there they are. Sorry about last week, Nick, of adding to your woes, I suppose. But no, you came on at the right time. But they just some of the goals they gave away against us last week, like, you wouldn't say it in under tens. Like you coach, you wouldn't be telling them they play like that at times. So it is a bit mad, but they
The
are.
risk reward. It's a risk and reward scenario.
It's like, but they do have a lot of quality players. Like you're, he's like not not very positive. I really like the look of what do you call him, Tyler Dublin.
Tyler
I think
Dublin.
I don't think he'll be. Sorry to say this, Nick, but I don't think he'll be at Southampton come the summer if he's do go down. I think there'll be a few teams looking at him. But nah, I can't see anything past the Brighton one in this one. I'm going to go 3-1 to Brighton. João Pedro's on fire, like as well. He's another player that I could see.
I do think Brighton have just got too much firepower for them, and they've been pretty strong at home this season. So I'm going to go for Brighton. They won by 4-2, and a big throw. I think it's going to be loads of goals in this game.
6-goal thriller.
Callum saying that Southampton manager knows what he's doing. He knows that style of play will get a job, and he's right. You think about Company. It mightn't be as good as Bayern Munich because Russell Merton's not got the profile of a Company from his playing days. But there'll be a lot of teams looking at Southampton and going with better players. We could go for this because they're brave, aren't they?
They're 4-0. And that's coming from himself. You all right, Nick? Or you having a bad?
I get the feeling Nick isn't on the Russell Merton fan club. I get the feeling he would prefer a more more tactical way of going through games and maybe playing out from the back and giving up goals.
Well, it is like when you.
See, they bring balance, and there's times they cut through Liverpool, and they're supposed to be the best defensive team. So as much as they're making mistakes, they are. Like they're putting together good phases of play as well.
Oh, they could have scored a few against us last week. Like some of their play, your wee man. I'm just being realistic. Your wee man from Portugal. I can't remember his name. Fernandez, is it?
Yeah.
He looked a good wee find as well. But no, I'm going to stick with me Brighton 3-1. I think Brighton will have too much.
We do have somebody. I believe Southampton will get it. James says that could be a draw tonight. Owen, let's move Andy tomorrow. Of course, we did mention there's no 12:30 game, so it's straight into the 3:00 games. Brentford take on managerless Leicester. Of course, Ruud van Nistelrooy set to take over, but I wonder did Ruud van Nistelrooy look at the home record of Brentford and think they're supposed to be the best home record in the Premier League?
I'm not coming in yet.
I'll wait till we play West Ham on Tuesday night at home.
Yeah.
So because this hasn't been announced yet, but from all angles it's done. So this is a game that Leicester maybe only write off and start fresh on Tuesday night. And of course, Brentford up and down this season, but at home, they've been consistently getting points. I think they've got 16 points from 18 at home. So 5 wins and a draw out of 6 is a really, really good record. And you can't see anything other than another home one going on for them.
No, I'm gonna go 2-0 Brentford. I'm gonna go. I'll take my goal scorers for this one. I'll go Brian and Buemo. They get them both.
Brian and Buemo. What do you think about the imminent appointment of Ruud van Nistelrooy? Because I think it's fair to say that he's not getting this based on his PSV days. He's getting it off the back of his 4-game stint at Man United, and of course they beat Leicester twice on there quite convincingly. So they've had two opportunities. They look at how he sets teams up. Because Van Nistelrooy was available in the summer when Leicester needed a manager and he wasn't even mentioned. So I can only imagine it's off this recent record. How do you see that? He did do well at PSV, but he was a United legend. He could argue other than the Chelsea game, he couldn't have handpicked 3 other games from him. Leicester was struggling. and I think all 4 games were at home that he had. So I mean, he had a great 4-game streak to go on, and of course they won 3 and drew the other one with Chelsea. Are you surprised that Leicester have gone this way? We have Ruud van Nistelrooy type.
I like it's a bold one because you say he only had 4 games at United and they were all at home against teams that apart from Chelsea that you would expect them to beat. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it works because obviously he doesn't have the quality of player at Leicester that he would have at United. So it's gonna be interesting. Does he try and play like more? That's what Leicester fans want. They want more front foot football, but it could go either way. I'll reserve judgment, but I think it's a big ask for him to keep them up. I think.
Yeah. You're going 2-0 Brentford. I'm going to go the same 2-0 Brentford.
Yep.
Crystal Palace take on Newcastle. We talked about big shocks, Owen, and I think it was fair to say on Monday night that was a big shock. West Ham going to Newcastle and winning.
Yeah.
Newcastle were in good form and good nick and looking like they were a real threat for that top 4. Of course, it's only 1 game, but not scoring enough goals, it would seem, Newcastle. And Crystal Palace still only that 1-1 against Spurs. Have had a lot of draws. And the one thing you'd say about Palace is they're always in games. They don't really get battered. They're always in them tight games where they get draws and lose. Of course, they'd have won that game against Spurs, but I think Palace fans expected more. But I think at the minute they'll be happy enough that they're not losing as many as they were at the start of the season.
Yeah, no, that was a big shock on Monday night because I think Newcastle dominated the majority of the game. They had chance after chance after. For me, I know you disagreed, but for me, they were denied a stonewall penalty. For me, I don't know how that wasn't given. It was soft, but for me, I think it was a penalty. But in Palace, they probably expected more, but I don't think they expected the Elise move to affect him as much as it did because he's been on fire at Bayern. Not that I've watched a lot of Bayern, but from what I have seen, he's been one of their best players alongside Harry Kane. But Nick, I agree with Nick. I guess it's a hard one to predict. I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1. I'll go on 1-1 here, so they are. I'm going to disagree with a lot of these. Spurs won't be the only team to lose at Palace this season. It will be Newcastle will be the second team. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Crystal Palace 1.
And then we'll come back and beat us at home and shoot off.
Nottingham Forest take on Ipswich at 3:00 as well. Forest have
Their
come off
bubbles
the end a wee
burst.
bit. The bubbles burst. Ipswich, I tell you what, they're giving it all. They have their bit like Luton last season, where they're picking up the odd result. They're sacrificing really good football. I think they played really good football, but they're happy to play in different parts of the pitch. They're happy to go long. One thing I would say is, right, from a personal point of view, right, Vincent Kompany and Rob Edwards last year went about it totally different ways.
Yep.
And yet both were relegated. Rob Edwards is at Luton, probably on the verge of the sack. And Vincent Kompany gets the Bayern Munich job. So, I mean, maybe Ipswich do have a better way of staying in games than Southampton do at the minute. But, that's not guaranteed to keep you up either. So even sacrificing that style of play for results, you still have to be good in both boxes. And they weren't good in the attacking box against Man United because really they should have won that game with the chances they had. Forest at home, you would imagine they can bounce back here, but you wouldn't be hanging your hat on Forest as much as you would have done a month ago, and they won this one.
No, and I don't think they will either. I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go an 1-1 draw here.
I don't know. Hey, I think Ipswich have done their away game this year at Spurs. I don't know if they'll won too many away from home. I think Forest are due to bounce back as well, so I'll go for a 2-1 Forest 1.
2-1. It's one of them. I could go 1-1, 2-1, but I'm gonna just about say 2-1. No, James.
Everyone's sort of 0-0. Forest only 1-2 at home. That's true.
James, you need to change that picture from Spain. The Euros is over a while ago.
Forest were stronger at home in recent seasons, but away from home they seem to be getting results this year. So
I mean,
that's taken away from their home form.
They won at Anfield, so
yeah, they lost last time out at home to Newcastle 3-1, but I remember before that they beat West Ham 3-0. So
yeah,
I think Forest could bounce back this weekend. A final 3:00 game. Wolves take on Bournemouth, the Gary O'Neill derby. Of course, both teams, I think Bournemouth happy with their replacement in Areola.
Yeah.
But City, I think O'Neill will turn Wolves around, and they definitely seem to be going the right direction now. And all of a sudden, a bit of confidence, a bit of a one and run. Bournemouth's away form isn't great. This is tough one to call, but Bournemouth took most of their points at home. I know they lost last time out, but away from home, I think it's only 1-1 in their last 8 away games, stretching back to last year. And Wolves have got that wee bit of confidence now. So this is a much different game than what you would have thought it would have been a few weeks ago.
I know I predicted Wolves to go down, and I'm still sticking to it. Just about, I'm just about still sticking to it. But I think they'll win this game. Gonna change my profile on Sunday. I'm gonna go 2-1 Wolves.
He's saying Wolves as well, 2-1.
Me and Nick are on the same wavelength here.
I'm gonna go for the same 2-1 Wolves 1. Moving on to the 5:30 game on Saturday. West Ham take on Arsenal. A big opportunity for Arsenal.
6-0 West Ham.
Of course, Arsenal won here 6-0 last year.
Yeah,
a big opportunity for Arsenal to close the gap to Liverpool. The 6 points, of course, before they play at Anfield at the weekend against Man City. So Arsenal need to get the job done here. But we says last week this is a nightmare run of games for West Ham, and then they go and beat Newcastle, and all of a sudden now West Ham, Arsenal looks a bit not a bit harder to call, but Arsenal will be thinking, after that West Ham one, that it's a different West Ham team now. They'll have a bit of confidence about them.
I don't know. I can't see anything but an Arsenal one, to be honest. Because as much as they won on Monday night, they should have been peppered.
1-1.
Come on, West Ham.
Get a result.
No, I'm gonna go 2-0 Arsenal for me.
2-0 Arsenal.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a 1-1.
Arsenal have been playing well recently.
Yeah.
I just think this is going to revert to a bit of a scrap, and I'm going to go for 1-0 Arsenal.
Yeah.
You can see more comment here. Surely Arsenal won this. Moving on to Sunday, a lot of games on Sunday. 3 games at 1:30, and of course this weekend standard fixture is 4:00. But Chelsea take on Aston Villa in the first live game of Super Sunday. And all I don't know. Sunday be police moving the Liverpool game to 4, so the rest of the games are moved back to 1:30. Not that 30 minutes should make a big difference today, but that's just the way it is. Of course, Chelsea and Villa is the first part of a big Super Sunday. That is a really good Super Sunday when you think about it.
That's like a starter then the dessert's one after.
For whole Man City. But let's start with these two teams because Chelsea absolutely flying at the minute in Europe and the Premier League, sitting third in the table. Really seem to be going in the right direction. But they're another team as well that, Leicester could have got a result last week. For how much Chelsea were dominant, they can't really finish teams off as well. Villa on 7 games in all competitions we had a 1, of course, denied by VAR in the Juventus game the other night. But
what do you think of that one?
I think I should have counted but
no, so did I.
What do you do? Villa in the Premier League recently have been struggling and haven't been playing well. And I think Chelsea will be looking at this as a great opportunity to get 3 points. And I seen Villa firsthand a few weeks ago away at Spurs in a big game, and they were poor. I think they sat back in that game. I can see them doing the same here. So I think this is going to be on Chelsea. They break them down and go on and win the game.
I agree. Chelsea, for as much they're playing well, and as you say, Leicester could have got a result, but I think Villa, as you say, they haven't won now. 7 is it?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna agree with Callum there. I'm gonna go 3-1 Chelsea.
Villa are one of the teams conceding a lot of big chances. I think Man City's another one.
Yeah.
The metrics tell you that they're getting their defensive line all wrong. I think Chelsea on their day are really dangerous. So I'm going to go for a big Chelsea 1 here. I'm going to go for a 4-1 Chelsea 1. Man United take on Everton at 1:30 as well. Ruben Amorim's home debut in the Premier League at Old Trafford. Of course, Everton up and down team this year. But it's all about results really. There's no enjoyment in watching them, I don't think, from their own fans. United, weren't great against Ipswich. I didn't see the game last night. I just heard it was 3-2 they won. So I heard defensively they were suspect, and they were suspect against Ipswich. So Everton will get opportunities, but have they got the quality to punish this Man United team?
Not for me, but I think this is going to be a dire game. I'm going to go 1-0 Man United. Scrappy 1-0.
Um, 1-0 Everton, Nick saying he thinks Everton's going to get a big one. I agree with you on.
I hope they do get the big one, and then they play shite then next week.
I agree with you. Don't think it'll be a pretty watch, but I think United will be too strong. I'm going to go for a 2-0 United one. Big game for Spurs at half 1-1, of course. They run the wave of beating Man City last week, of course, in Europe. Went fairly strong on Thursday night, only a couple of changes. They did have periods in that game where they could have blew Roma away, and conversely, they had games where Roma were all of them. So it was a bit of a mad game last night. Disallowed goals, crossbars, posts, goals galore, saves. It was
there 3 disallowed goals for Roma?
Yeah, 3 disallowed goals for Roma. One of them was tight. The other 2 were miles offside. But Spurs hit the post 3 times. Post and bar 3 times. Roma had it twice. Keepers made really big saves at both ends, and really it should have been a lot more than 2-2. It could easily have been 4-4, 5-5. It was a really throwback. The tactics going out the window, and both teams just went at it.
You think it's a big blow for Spurs because Fakaro's out now for a couple of months?
Well, of course, but Forster did well, they aren't, so we'll have to see. I'm not convinced. Of course, Fulham beaten 4-1 by Wolves last time out, and recently Spurs have been helping teams out, but Man City didn't get any helping hand off them. Roma were winless, still winless, so maybe Dr. Tottenham has been put away, and Fulham, and maybe Fulham are going to meet this new Spurs who seem to be able to beat teams. What do you think?
Do you know what? I actually think this is a hard one to call, believe it or not, because just the way Spurs are. You know what? I'm gonna go 2-2.
Yeah, Callum agrees with you. 2-2. I think it's all going to come down to Spurs being clinical. If they're clinical, they won. And because they're going to give chances away in this counter attack, they Traore and Smith Rowe and players like that. Nelson, Jimenez has been in decent form, but I just wonder how much that'll knock out the Fulham ship after getting battered 4-1 last week at home. But I suppose a different type of game. Fulham last week were counter attacked on. This week they'll be the team counter attacking. So maybe it'll be a thing for them. I'm a bit like you. I think that it's hard to call. Really is. I'll just favour Spurs in the sense that I'll go for a 3-2 Spurs one. Spurs haven't won a game by a goal in the league this year, so I'll say this will be the weekend that they do it.
This will be the first one.
Liverpool, Man City. Owen, we're finishing off of that. Of course, we spoke about it earlier. Huge game. How's it going to go?
I said 3-1 on Monday night. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go 3-1 to Liverpool.
I can't see anything other than a Liverpool one, to be honest. Even though how Spurs beat them, I think there still is a chance that could happen this weekend in a different way. I think Liverpool could just really catch them in the counter attack and punish them. They won't go after them, I don't think, the way Spurs did, but they'll still be able to get as many chances in the counter attack, I think, and maybe not give away as many. I think the first goal is massive, but I think Liverpool are going to round off the end of a brilliant week and start the next week in brilliant shape. So
it'll be interesting to see who brings in at centre back here. Will it be Gomez or will it be Kwanzaa? I would go Gomez.
I'm going to go for a Liverpool 3-0 one.
3-0, you think we'll keep a clean sheet?
Yeah. Interesting. 2-0. Can't see Man City keeping a clean sheet. So they will up their game, give away chances. Oh, we'll be better conceding. I think Liverpool 3-1. Knack, reckon City will get a draw. Interesting. I think a lot of people are fancying Liverpool. Oh, and we did say before we go off, we'll do this quite quickly. For anyone that isn't aware, this is the start of one of those treble match weeks. So Owen, let's start with Liverpool. Of course, they have got Man City at home, Newcastle away, and Everton away on Saturday. We're looking at who could be the biggest winners and losers of this money, because all of a sudden you play 3 games, there's 9 points available. The table could change quite a lot this week because of how tight it is between all the teams in different positions. There's even a possibility that Liverpool could see their 9 point. Obviously, it will be a big shock, but you could be sitting here next Monday night saying we're level with Arsenal. You just don't know. But I will be shocked if that was the case. But how do you see those 3 games in particular for Liverpool?
As I said already, I think we'll beat Man City, we'll beat Newcastle, and I think Everton will get a draw against us, unfortunately.
7 points. Arsenal, they have got West Ham away, Man United at home, and Fulham away.
I think they'll get 9 points.
9 points. So in your head, the gap will be cut to 7 points.
No.
You happy enough with that? If you're coming in the next weekend, to be 7 points clear, you'd be happy enough.
No.
Man City, they have got Liverpool away. Liverpool away. They've got who they got at home again on the weekend? They've got a home game. Is it Everton at home?
I think it is. I'll double check here.
Everton at home and Palace away. Isn't that right?
I'll double check here. I think it is. Man City fixtures.
Yeah, there'll be 9 points out of 9 for Liverpool.
They have us, then Forest at home, then Palace away.
Yeah, so Man City, Callum just saying 9 points out of 9 for both Liverpool and Arsenal. So that will put massive pressure on Man City to stay in touch. Liverpool away, you says Liverpool's winning that. Forest at home and Palace away. How do you see them two going?
I think they'll win them too. I think they'll get 6 points.
Chelsea have got Villa at home, Southampton away, and Spurs away on Sunday. I think that's a massive game for both teams.
I'm going to go 7 points.
7 points for Chelsea. Spurs have got, as we says, Fulham at home, Bournemouth away, and Chelsea at home.
You know what? It's mad for Spurs because you could say they could get 9, you could say they could get 7, or you could say they could get none. So you don't know. But I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to be mad. I'm going to say they get 3 points, 3 draws.
3 draws. They haven't only drawn 1 game all season.
I don't know. I just think them games are tricky.
Yeah, they're all tricky. Brighton, of course, got Southampton tonight. You expect them to win that, don't you? Then they've got on Wednesday night, I believe. Oh, no, sorry, Thursday night. They're away to Fulham. How do you see that going?
I got a bad draw.
So and then Brighton finish off on Sunday away to Leicester. Could be Ruud van Nistelrooy territory.
Yeah, so what? So that's 3 the night, the draw, and then a 1, I think. So 7 points, I'd say, for Brighton.
Let's give Nick some optimism here. Southampton's next 3. Brighton away. You says you fancy Brighton. Chelsea at home. You fancy Chelsea, don't you?
Sorry.
And then who have they got in the 3rd game this week? Villa away, which looks awful, but it could be a Villa team really struggling.
You know what? I'll give him a point. I'll give him a point out of Villa.
Favorable games for Brighton. James thinks it's going to take a big team to beat Spurs. James has been one of the Ange Postecoglou fan club members. He is a big fan of Ange.
You could say it's going to take a good team to beat Spurs, but then that's what you beat them a few weeks ago. So
that's it though. United, Owen, they have got a tough week really, because Everton at home will still be cagey, and then Arsenal away is going to be difficult, and then Forest at home at the weekend. So no easy games for Amram, and of course it'll be Man City away the week after that.
Nah, I'm going to say they get 6 points. I think they'll beat Everton, beat Forest, and then lose to Arsenal.
Nick's saying he would take 3 points now out of 9, but he thinks they'll get 0. I don't know why. I don't know why he doesn't have a bit more optimism, because they played okay at times. Nick says he doesn't care about United. Owen, it's been great to have you on. There's definitely going to be some big games in the next 7 days or so. I really hope Southampton can get some sort of
Because I think Nick's on the verge of depression there. I don't know.
Nice. He's not coping well, I don't think, with this.
No, but it
Southampton.
is
You know
when your
what, though? I
team
can understand because it's
when your
probably
team's going through a bad run, you just think, ah,
no, but it's probably the goals are giving away. It's probably frustrating, but I
yeah,
have seen some really good things from him. So who knows? Maybe this will be the night. They can kickstart their season. I know they did beat Everton, but they need to follow this up now.
yeah.
They've had some near misses. They need to get that one. And who knows? It's been the season of big shocks. This will be a big shock. Southampton tonight going to Brighton, but who knows? It could happen. At the
Well,
minute,
hopefully by the end of this week, I'll be singing "It's beginning to look a slot like Christmas," eh?
uh,
I've accepted it's quite liberating.
He's accepted.
Um,
Early days, a couple of results, and you might change your tune. But Owen, it's been great having you on. Really good show tonight. Seems to be lots of people in the comments as well, which is good. Of course, looking forward to a big weekend and a big week of football. Of course, as this is at the top of the show, Premier League tonight, Saturday, Sunday, break Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, break Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then the Champions League returns.
Are all their matches on TV midweek?
Yeah, all on Amazon Prime, so you can stream all games on 3 hours. So I think Wednesday nights, I think there's 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Thursday, and of course 6 on Wednesday night, including Newcastle, Liverpool, and Arsenal, Man United. So
are they all at the same time?
No, one. I think Newcastle, Liverpool's earlier than they are, but they will clash. But one kicks off earlier than the other one. But I know you'll not be watching Arsenal, Man United now.
No. I'll keep an eye on it, but I won't be watching it.
Owen, great having you on as usual. And I'm sure you'll be on again coming up to Christmas. It's going to be a big month in terms of podcasts because, of course, there is a lot of games around Christmas time. And of course, we'll be doing that big one towards Christmas with the boys from Spurs and Liverpool, of course. So make sure to enjoy the start of the festive period. I'm off out on my staff party tomorrow night, so I need to make sure I'm in decent enough shape to watch the games on Sunday.
You might need if Spurs lose on Sunday, you might drink even more.
You know what? You just wouldn't know Spurs. I'd be surprised if we won all 3 games this week. But I would be shocked if we didn't win at least one of them. So
it's one of them with Spurs. You wouldn't be shocked if they won them all, lost them all, or drew them all.
Nah, well, do you know what? I really hope we beat Chelsea because, of course, I'm going to the Chelsea game.
When's that, next Sunday?
Next Sunday, So, we'll be building up towards that throughout the week, and of course, we'll be back here on Monday night discussing all the big talking points from the weekend, and of course, building up to the midweek action. So, make sure to join us here on Monday. I would say around the same time, 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Maybe go 6 p.m. Maybe we'll go 6 p.m. on Monday night. We'll go 6 o'clock on Monday night. Give people a chance after work to get on. So 6 o'clock on Monday night, we'll be back looking back at the weekend's results and, of course, looking ahead the Amazon Prime midweek fixture schedule. So, Owen, it's been brilliant having you on. Thanks to all the viewers for their comments. And if you're new around here, make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Knack will be here on Monday night to talk about Southampton's big one on the South Coast at Brighton. So make sure to join us. And you have a good weekend as well. Owen, top man, and I'll see you soon.
Cheers, lad.